Hi friends, it's time for another baking video. So today I'm going to show you how to make a chocolate brownie mousse trifle or truffle. So it's one of those stacked desserts in the fancy dish. So here is my fancy dish that I put it in. This one is from Pampered Chef. I got it as a gift. But yeah, so you put all the different layers of your dessert in here and it looks really fancy. So what you need is 1 box of brownie mix or your favorite brownie recipe. I just make mine from a box. Chocolate mousse, and this is just an add milk and whip it together. Here's the brand name, but I've always used this kind because I think it comes out the best. So, and this is double chocolate flavored, but you could get like milk chocolate or even white chocolate, it's up to you. Some type of berry. I got blackberries because they were $1 for this container, so that was really cheap. But most times I get raspberries to mix up the color. Some nuts, which are optional, obviously, if you have allergies. So, but I had some leftover walnuts, so I'm gonna put those in. And then some Cool Whip, of course, or if you want to whip your own cream, then just some heavy cream. But yes, so step 1 is I'm going to bake the brownies. So something that I will note about baking the brownies is you want the brownies to be more of a cake consistency and not a fudgy consistency. So I'm gonna add an extra egg to the recipe, to the box recipe, because this is supposed to be a little bit fudgier, but if you add an extra egg, it will be cakier. And that's what we're going for because the dessert itself is kind of heavy anyway, that you need the brownie to be more cake-like and absorb some of the other mousse and stuff, so you don't want it to be too fudgy. That would be kind of too much. But yeah, so I'm gonna get going on making the brownies. Mixing up the brownies. It's all mixed. Now we just want to pour it into our greased baking sheet. Oh, it's runny and goopy. Delicious. And then I will bake these for the appropriate amount of time. Okay, fast forward to later. The brownies are out of the oven and I have let them cool down and cut them up into these bite-sized pieces. I'm just going to set those aside for now. It is time to make the mousse. And here's the kind that I'm using. And the recipe says that you just beat this with 1 cup of cold milk. So there we go. I'm actually using almond milk because it's going to be a slightly different flavor that I think will be good. One tip whenever you are making like a mousse or whipping cream or anything like that is to have all of your utensils super cold. So I actually put this bowl with the mousse mixture into the refrigerator first. I didn't put the sugar and the powdery stuff wasn't in the refrigerator, but yes, it is good to put your bowl into the refrigerator to keep it super cold because that helps with it setting up and becoming a mousse. So now I'm just going to add in my milk. There we go. And now I've got my mixer and I'm just going to, oh boy. First I'm gonna fix that, then I'm gonna mix it all together. All right, take 2 on the mixing. And mix it like this for 3 to 4 minutes, stopping halfway through to scrape down the bowl. It is looking good. And there we go. So the mousse is all beat up. So now we can go to assembling our truffle bowl. Alright. So I've got my bowl here and I'm going to start with layer 1, which is brownies. So I'm just going to fill the bottom of the bowl with my cut up brownies. Making sure that none of the pieces are too big, breaking them apart. You just want to get a good layer on the bottom. Very good. Alrighty. A little bit more. Okay. Now at this this point, if I wasn't taking this to a work potluck tomorrow, I would pour a little bit of brandy or rum chata or like a chocolate liqueur or something kind of spicy in here to soak into the brownie. But since I'm taking this to work and I don't really want to get everyone, you know, I don't know how they feel about all that stuff, I will leave that part out. So next, on top of the brownie, I'm going to pour this entire thing of the mousse just over the brownie layer. Let me get a spatula. Okay, so we've got the whole, that was one box of the mousse in here on top of the brownie, and I'm just going to spread it around evenly. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you kind of want the sides to look nice so that the whole view, when you look at it from the side, is nice. See what I'm talking about there? Oh goodness. Okay. So there we go. It doesn't have to be perfect, but there we go. We got the gist of it. And now I'm going to take my berries, which I just washed, and drop those in. Again, you want to be kind of careful just placing them around the outside a little bit so that they look nice from so that the full view of your dessert looks all fancy. See what I'm saying there? Looks good. So I'm just gonna put all of these in here. There we go. There we go. But yeah, you see what I mean, how raspberries would look better, but sometimes berries are extremely expensive, so you know, whatever is cheap. And I think that blackberries will be really good in here. There we go. All right, that layer is done. And now comes the Cool Whip layer. Or like I mentioned, if you wanted to get really fancy, you could whip your own cream, but ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, so then we're just gonna put that in there and spread it out. All right, the whipped cream is all blended together. See, look at how it's looking from the side. Looking good, looking good. So now I am going to take some of my nuts, and I just have walnuts left over from a salad I made the other day. So I'm going to just sprinkle those in there, like so. Ooh. There we go. Now we've got a layer of nuts, and this is an optional layer if you know people have nut allergies or whatever. You could use almonds or pecans, whatever you have. I just happen to have walnuts, so there we go, because nuts are expensive to buy. But there we go. So now we have to repeat this whole process all again with another layer of brownie, another layer of mousse, berries, and whipped cream. I don't recommend whipping all of your mousse together because it's harder to whip up that much, so I always just do it in 2 batches. You can reuse your bowl, you don't even have to clean it or anything, but I do recommend separating them and doing one box at a time. So now I'm gonna do this whole thing again. All right, and here is the finished product. As you can see, I put another layer of brownie, mousse, berries, and whipped cream, and then on the top, I just sprinkled some of the excess brownie crumbs. I put a couple of the blackberries on the top, and then I put some nuts on the top. Whenever I put nuts into a dessert or anything like this, I always try to garnish the top of that dish with the nuts so that people who have allergies or whatnot can tell that that's what's in there, so people can clearly see that this has blackberries and walnuts in it. But yep, so here is the finished dish. I'm going to put the lid on this and put it in the refrigerator overnight. That way the mousse can kind of seep together and the brownie can kind of absorb some of that stuff and get all gooey and yummy. But yes, so obviously this is a much easier recipe than it looks like. Essentially, it's just following the directions off of the box and putting it together in this fancy bowl. But yeah, so give it a try. Let me know what you think. I hope you guys had a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye.